Hello friends, in today's video I'm going to show a brief tutorial on how to find the distance between 2 points on a graph. So I'm starting with this one. I got 1, 2 and 5, 5. These are our 2 points and I want to know what is the distance between them, how far apart are they from one another. And what I can do, like if I'm trying to figure this out, this could be kind of challenging, right? I mean, where do I go? How do I begin? Well, it's important to realize that in a graph, we've got 2 dimensions. You've got the horizontal and the vertical. And then we can use Pythagorean theorem, right? Because what it does, it creates a right triangle. So check this out. In order to get from one point to the other, I can go to the side, and then I'm going up a certain amount, right? And so I can tell from what I'm doing here that I'm going over to the side. This is 4, and then I'm going up 3. And this makes a right triangle, right? Because this here, that's a right angle. And so then the distance from here to here is going to be the hypotenuse of this right triangle. And so, I mean, you can use Pythagorean theorem. If you know your Pythagorean triples, then you know right away this is a 3, 4, 5 right triangle. But let's say you don't know your Pythagorean triples. So how would this work? Well, you know that the hypotenuse, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so when I plug my numbers in, so a could be the 4 squared plus 3 squared equals c squared, where c is going to be that hypotenuse, that distance between them. So this is 16 plus 9 equals c squared, so 25 equals c squared. Take the square root of both sides, and you get that 5 equals c. All right, so what does this look like now? How do we generalize this into a formula for any 2 points, whatever they might be? Well, I came up with the 4 and the 3 simply by going over and then up and then counting the boxes. You can't do that all the time. It's not going to be practical. Sometimes you've got decimals. It gets a little crazy. So how do I end up with the 4 and the 3? Really what I'm doing is I'm taking the 2 points, right? So the 4 I can get by doing 5 minus 1. So this is like I'm taking x2 minus x1, right? That's how I'm getting the 4. And then for the vertical, how am I getting that? Up 3. Well, that's like taking 5 minus 2. Sorry, not comma minus 2, just 5 minus 2. And that gives me 3. So that's like taking y2 minus y1. So I can take these 2 formulas and put them into the Pythagorean theorem up here, right? And then notice I have to do the square root at the end. So when I generalize this whole thing, I end up with this. The distance between any 2 points is going to be the square root of, it's going to be x2 minus x1 squared, right? Because I end up with the a squared, plus, zoom in a little bit, y2 minus y1 squared. So if you're trying to memorize something, that's what the formula looks like. And then when you're taking the square root, you think, well, what happens if I've got negative numbers? How is that going to work out? But it's always going to work out because you're squaring. Whatever the difference is, you're squaring it. And then you're going to get a positive number when you square. And then you're adding 2 positive numbers. So the distance is always going to be the square root of some positive number. And hopefully this isn't too confusing. But realize too that when you're looking at that distance, the difference between the 2, like x2 minus x1, you could flip it. You could do it x1 minus x2 because you end up with the same difference one way or the other. And again, if it ends up being negative, you square it and it becomes positive. So this is the general formula for finding the distance between any 2 points on a graph. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you have questions, other quick tutorials you'd like to see, leave a comment or send me a message.